we should have some type of website with information about the event prior to the reach out.
Yep.
And then 2, we should have some type of a slide deck that has our packages on it prior to the reach out. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, how do I know if somebody's going to want to sponsor my event?
If you want to know what a company is potentially interested in sponsoring, go and like scour their social media page, go look at their LinkedIn profile, and go look at their like about page. You want to know what their mission is, what their vision is, what their values are. And then you want to see if they're particularly running like any initiatives on their page, because they might tell you like, we want to support green initiatives. So if you're a company and you are doing like something in the green space, for example, then you'll know that you're at least in alignment with like what they say they want to do versus what you want to do.
So let's say you do connect with somebody. Let's say you reached out, you filled out a form, or you got somebody's email at some event. What's the process that you usually use to get the sponsorship? Because I think you mentioned it earlier, it's not like a one and done deal. It ain't like I'm on a call. You said it was sales, but the way that you kind of explained it, it wasn't like a one and done deal. It was kind of like, okay, let me send you the proposal. Let me, send me your goals. Talk about that process for a minute in terms of like how to actually like get the deal done. What does that process typically look like?
Here. Yeah. But what'll happen is that I will send somebody. So I always have like, and when I start this, I always have a basic overview. I have a write-up of the event. I have a place that they can find out more information. So for my event, I have a website specifically because this particular event that that you and I were talking about when we started this conversation. This particular event is a large event and it happens every year, but your event could be linked to your website or whatever. So whatever information it is that you want to make sure that they can go back and start referencing, because they're going to go and do their research. So you want to make sure you have a place to send them. Then you want to be able to quickly summarize the event. You want to be able, or whatever it is, right? Because there was someone who mentioned like a program. Like if you are also wanting to have a program sponsored, you want to be able to summarize the program. You want to be able to talk about what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, who it's for, when it's happening, kind of like the 5 whys, who, what, where, when, why, all that good stuff. You want to put that kind of in a summary. You really want it to be summarized. They're not about to read this whole long thing. Even if you wrote it, they need to be able to quickly figure out what this is. And then you want to be able to have the conversation because, again, sales. So while you might sell some people via email, most of the time sales happen through that personal connection. We're laughing, we're joking, we're talking. I can clarify any information. I can get information from you. I can tailor this. So for example, in my event, this is my first year hosting an open mic night. So I went and got a person who does open mic nights and said, hey, I want you to sponsor this. So there's 2 things that happen. The first thing is they're putting their brand next to my brand, okay? These are questions you got to ask yourself for yourself. Do you have a reputable brand? Because I have a reputable brand here in Denver. So in Denver, for him to be able to put his brand next to my brand, he was like, that's clutch, and I'm on it. So he was already good to go. But I still have other costs that I have to cover. So like, okay, I don't have to pay for him to host. He's going to host it, promote it, do the whole 9. I still have to pay for marketing. I still have to cover the cost of like my VIPs having a free drink. Like there's all these other little things. So I estimate, okay, I probably need about $2,500 for this event. So I'll go after some sponsorship. Now I didn't get the full $2,500. Now for me, this is a part of a bigger event. So this is one little piece of a bigger event, but I still break down what does this part cost me so that I can try and gauge, like, should I do this next year or what does this look like? So now this is an open mic. This is art, right? This is culture. So there's an organization that is an art and a culture spot, but they are a nonprofit. So I go and I ask them, hey, I would love if you would consider sponsoring this organization. There is an alignment. We are business. We're bringing business to the culture to the business, and we need somebody who is cultured to sponsor this event, who cares about the culture to sponsor this event. Right. So I send them my package. My package says that my lowest sponsorship is $2,500.
Wait, pause real quick, because I know you're on the track. When you say you sent them your package, is that presentation? Is that slideshow you were talking about?
Yep, I'll pull it up.
Okay, got it. So which means that we need to create we should have some type of website with information about the event prior to the reach out.
Yep.
And then 2, we should have some type of a slide deck that has our packages on it prior to the reach out. Is that right?
Yep. So this is what I use. I use Canva to build it, but in the past I've used PowerPoint. So there's not a right or wrong way. I've seen people send it as a PDF. I've seen people send it as a PowerPoint. Again, no right or wrong way per se. So I do put everything that I can though. So I'll tell you what the event is. This is our theme. Our theme changes every year, but our event is always called the Black Boss Summit for this particular event. Then I tell you the dates. So here's the dates, here's the location. The next thing is I start off by thanking you. And here's the thing, most people are not going to read this, but you still want a fully polished event. I mean, a fully polished package anyway, in case, because any little thing could like throw somebody off like, oh, well, I don't know, they got typos or this looks like whatever. You want to make sure that you're taking the time to like be thorough about what it is. And we've had typos. I've actually fixed this like 4 or 5 times, but right here, I just tell you like we're going to provide you with a lot of opportunities for sponsorship to align your brand. So I talk about that, aligning your brand. So you want to use like the type of words that would resonate with someone in business. Well, why am I sponsoring this? Oh, we're aligning brands. Okay. So you're aligning your brand with the largest Black business conference in Colorado. And so I'll talk about that, right? So you want to talk about what makes your, event unique. And it doesn't have to be like, I want to be clear that the largest, the biggest, none of those things have to be the thing. You have to think about what you're bringing to the table. So that might be the audience that you're serving, the locale that you're serving. That might be the way that you're doing your event or program, whatever the case might be. It doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest in order for it to stand out. So then I'm the founder. This is me when I'm all spruced up. And this is my like kind of, thank you, right? So I talk about this. It's truly a special gem. It's a fast-paced economy where there are a few opportunities for Black entrepreneurs. So I'm telling you my case. This is why I am here. This is what I'm doing, right? So now this again just gives context. And you can take as much or as little of this as possible. For example, you may not need both a thank you for this and this. You can maybe get away with just one. And this has been developed over time. So now I kind of have a standard way that I like to do it, but this I feel like is my best sponsorship package. And I've been doing this for 8 years. So I talked about the presenting sponsor, what all they would get. So here, logo placement, exhibition, social media, newsletter, tickets, all this type of stuff, right? So boom, here's the presenting sponsor. It's going to be $20,000. Let me just start off by telling you, I do not have a presenting sponsor. Nobody has decided they're sponsoring $20,000 this year, but that's okay because I'm just going to keep going. So last year, my presenting sponsor said $10,000. And last year I didn't get a presenting sponsor either. But this year I got one person who's doing 20,000. It's not for this. And I have somebody who's doing 15,000. So I got more from last year than I did this year, but nobody wanted to be my presenting sponsor last year at the $10,000 level. So sometimes you got to just keep going and you put up a price and they can hit it or they don't hit it. If you shoot for the moon and you get, you know what I'm saying? What they say, if you shoot for the moon, you get the star, something like that. But you know what I mean? Like, you still want to be able to put it out there and you can't feel any kind of way that nobody took the bait. Like it's all good.
And you know what I love is because I can hear questions. I can hear y'all questions right now. Well, how do I know what to make my sponsorship packages at? I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you about that in a second. I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So here's basically my sponsorship packages. And I say sponsorship can be aligned to a specific event that makes the most sense for your brand, right? So all this is customizable. So I put all of this in here. Then I talk about events that they can align to. So remember, this for me is a conference. This is actually a 5-day conference. I got stuff happening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So my sponsorship package looks like this because I have multiple things for people to align to. And so then I have updated this. So every time something has sold, I put something on there. So like when I update this again, boom, now I can put my poetry night is sold. I can still go after poetry because I still technically need like another $1,000 there, but I could go and put my poetry night as sold because I got a sponsor for it. Then general conference is always sold because I got a lot of people who are going to do general conference, but I don't put that as sold because I don't want anybody to think that they shouldn't just do a general sponsor. So you can see these are kind of what's left open, but I have a lot of stuff that's done, and I've been able to put it up here what's sold. Okay, so then I did this. This is my first year doing this media partner package. This basically was no cost to someone who was willing to promote my event. So I'm going to give them, opportunities to come into the summit, but they don't have to pay anything. They get benefits. I'm going to put their logo on. They can have a booth, all these things. But what I need from them is for them to share it to their audience. So when you do a media partnership package, you want to do it with a company that has reach. So like today, I just recorded like a 15-minute interview about the summit with our local radio station, Kubo, and they're going to air it on Thursday. Now, for them, all they really wanted was a couple of tickets to get in. But for me, it's huge because now my summit is going to air across an FM radio station.
Wow.
Then I talk about, so if you don't have this, again, that's okay, not a problem, but I have done this a little bit. So I got some folks. So of course, we know people like Hill Harper and ET. You may know Kendall Ficklin. You may know Karen Civil. She was one of Nipsey Hussle's business partners. For us, Amanda Gordon is huge because Amanda Gordon is the first Black woman-owned car dealership here in Colorado. And she's also broken down quite a few other barriers. So here locally, big name. So I talk about that. That helps to add credibility, because when I told you that Hill Harper and Eric Thomas touched my stage, you like, bet I'm in there. Who's going to tell me no when Hill Harper touched my stage?
Right. There's so many more benefits as I'm seeing, as you're going through this, I'm seeing how there's so much more benefits that you'll get, even just outside of just the money, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever they're giving you, right? You're getting brand credibility, you're getting social proof. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many other ways you can leverage just to build your own brand and to attract more people. So I love it.
And this really is just some of our previous speakers. I mentioned David Banner. David Banner's not even on here, right? Because I didn't want to just show all people who you could buy. Like, you're not going to know who Amanda Gordon is, but Amanda Gordon is next to Eric Thomas. That might make you want to go look her up. Then when you look her up, you're going to be like, oh, okay. There's somebody you want me to let this person from the waiting room?
Oh, I got him.
Okay, I think just because you let me share my screen. Okay. So now, why should I sponsor? This is like, again, that brand alignment. So for me and my organization, I'm talking about equity. I'm talking about their why does CSR just leave my head right now? But basically that, what they're doing in terms of giving back, their social alignment. I talk about as being good for business. I talk about strategic positioning. So that's important, because a lot of times if you don't have an equitable initiative, and I think there was someone who did have an equitable initiative, like you were helping women heal, right? But like, if you don't have necessarily like an equitable initiative, for example, or something that is in that charitable realm, so to speak, strategic positioning, it can be huge, and you need to be able to talk about that. For us, I said, support the fastest growing entrepreneurial segment in America and position your brand with an impactful organization, making waves in the Black community through business development and financial empowerment. So that was helpful to ask people when they're thinking about why they should sponsor. I gave them that. I tell you what our communication strategy is. So basically what we're going to be doing: blogs, podcasts, presenters, sales fund, all these things, right? So, okay, they know what we're going to be doing. And then I tell you about the event. I personally have a quote here. So again, if you're doing a first time event, no worries. You don't have to have some of these things. All of these things over time help. And then I talk about my organization so that this was me when I was in Detroit, and out of one of their like classic spaces, 313. And then this is actually one of the events I brought David Banner to. But this is about the organization. And then I just say thank you and how to contact me. And this is important to like the type of imagery that you use. So if you notice, I don't have any stock images. We actually gave out $15,000 at our event. This is actually me speaking. This is one of our events. That's Hill Harper back there and me on the stage with Hill Harper. This one is stock, I guess, because it's communication, but this is our, like all of these pictures are our events. So again, maybe a little stock here, but those stocks are in strategic places. Everything, me and Hill Harper. The guy that I told you that cut me that first check, this is him, Richard Lewis. So all of the pictures, this is from Karen Civil, are real pictures. This is from Karen Civil. And again, this is Hill Harper. So